that basketball league going.
I got it.
Enjoy the 50-degree change in temperature since we turned the furnace back on.
This over here, so everyone knows this is you.
All right.
63 in my house. My daughter
Oh. Jill, that's very funny. I mean, Amy is really awesome. I'm happy to be Amy. Yeah. Except we look completely, exactly different. Me and Amy. It couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
On Apple. All right. Keep it on the atomic clock. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Good evening. Welcome to the May 19th meeting of the Village of Western Springs Village Board of Trustees to honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the individuals who serve and protect our community. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Timmick, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Bacon's absent. Trustee Chen.
Here.
Trustee Fink.
Here.
Trustee Lewis.
Here.
Trustee Naraki. Here. Trustee Tyrrell.
Here.
Thank you very much. Moving on in our agenda, the next item is public comment. Come to the podium, please. Oh. Okay. If you can just please state your name.
Good. So, my name is Stephen Baker. Is this on?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Stephen Baker, and I'm a resident of Western Springs and also a member of two local groups, the Green Team at the First Congregational Church here in town, and also an organization called Go Green LaGrange, which actually has a footprint that includes LaGrange and LaGrange Park and Western Springs. First, I want to congratulate you on the launch of the Pollinator Pocket event, the program, which, as you know, encourages residents to adopt part of the village's right-of-way and convert it into a sanctuary for birds and moths and bees and butterflies and other pollinators. And this has the obvious benefit of beautifying individual homes and beautifying the village for all of our residents, villagers, and visitors. And it also may help in some small way with environmental services to the village, you know, retaining stormwater, capturing runoff of pesticides and reducing noise and pollution of gas-powered lawn equipment. Second, I just want to call out several staff who have been especially helpful in this process, primarily Daisy, who's a liaison to the Green Team, but also Matt and Casey and Chris and others who have committed to be an active part of the success of this. I realize it's just a part of what the village wants to accomplish in managing the challenges of a changing environment, and the Green Team has been a really willing and excited partner with the village, and we look forward to continuing that stuff. The real purpose of this is to invite you personally as trustees and staff and anyone here to an event happening Thursday, June 5th at the library. This is an event co-sponsored and co-hosted by the village. I know that Daisy will be there, and it's an opportunity to explain more about this program, to have answers, questions answered about what kinds of plants can be used, the process the village used, and so forth. So thank you again for this policy change. Thank you for the staff time in making it happen, and for your continued commitment to this project. So. Oh, sorry. If you're able to attend, you do need to go to the website and register for the event. And as of 5 minutes ago, it's still possible to register.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Nutt?
Hello?
You're ready.
Yeah, hi. My name is John Griffin, resident of Western Springs. Been here about 17 years. I'm also a builder. I've been in front of you guys a few times now at this stage. I talked to Matt Supert last week, and he suggested I present this to the board just to run it by you before any decision is made. So what I would like to do is I'd like to discuss, I just put it on paper just so I wouldn't ramble, and it's not that long. I made it bigger so my eyes are weak, but I'd like to discuss my request to purchase the remaining 46 feet of the right-of-way on the west side of the 5200 block of Woodland Avenue. I submitted my request on March 17th and paid required 10% deposit plus a 2,500 fee for that, to purchase that 46 feet. I'd recently purchased a house next door, 5150, but before purchasing, I'd reached out to the village to get information on how much of the right-of-way was still available to be purchased. I'd just gone through a similar process. If you remember, it was going on since 2022, but at that time, a decision had been made that I was able to purchase all of the property, but there had been a prior decision that it was going to be split 50-50 to be fair and equitable to both parties. So I put in an offer to purchase it with the expectation that, following prior precedents, I would at least get purchase 40 feet, if not the entire 46 feet of that right-of-way. As in the grand purchase, the neighbor to the south had purchased part of the right-of-way. In this case, in the grand case, it was 20 foot he had purchased in early 2019. So it wasn't that long ago. He had designed and built a house around that additional property. I had actually received a copy of the transfer document from the village when I made my initial request. When I asked about the question, they'd sent me the document transferring it. It was transferred on February 15th of 2019. Shortly thereafter, like I said, plans were worked on, house was built, and a beautiful home exists on the property to this date. It has been 6 years since then. It's 2025, a couple of months since then. So it's been over six months since he purchased the 20 feet. No attempt was made to purchase it. I come in on March 17th, put my request in, follow guidance, and as your policy is, you go out to neighbors and request information. This is the third right-of-way request I've been brought to the board. I purchased Central right-of-way, I purchased Grand right-of-way, and now I'm trying to purchase Woodland right-of-way. The Grand purchase request was, like I said, was submitted September 9 to 2022, and at that time, my request was received from the village. The neighbor to the south went through the same process, had never purchased and had never looked to purchase it. I put in my request, and suddenly everyone jumps up and wants the property that was there to be purchased the entire time. However, this is a little bit different because in this case, it was purchased in 2019. No rules have changed. As we learned when we were going through the last time, the wording related to the right-of-way purchase, which was the wording 50% existed in the right-of-way disposal policy dated March 24, 2003, but was removed from the revised policy in 2027 and also left out in 2017. And since then, there's no discussion about the right to purchase half. In fact, the wording refers to the right to purchase the entire right-of-way. That is since 2017 or 2007, that has been the wording. As the neighbor to the south purchased the right-of-way in 2019, there has been no change in the policy during that time period or well before that. It was 12 years prior to that the policy had changed. As I submitted my request first, followed the policy, and based on prior outcomes of this committee, I feel at a minimum it is my request to purchase the entire amount is questioned, and I feel that the second most reasonable option, where people are treated fair and equally, would be once again the property would be split in half, 6.5 and 6.5, because they had their chance, they purchased 20 feet, now it's a new deal, and the committee back when Alice Gallagher, rest in peace, was around, that was what her decision was from the very beginning. It should be 50-50 on the amount that's in this debate, not the initial amount that was there, from the beginning of time. So I think that, to me, at a minimum 6.5, that would get me to a place where I've been working on drawings with the expectation I was going to get it all, because that's where ultimately I felt it was. But at a minimum, if I was to get to 7 feet to get me to the 100 feet, I'd be able to use the drawings I'm currently working on, and I have interested customers. I'm asking the board just to consider this. It's not going outside the norm. It's something we've followed before. We had this precedent 2 years ago when the board agreed that it should be split 50-50. At a minimum, that's all I'm asking for. But it seems like no one wants to purchase these until someone else goes first. And why am I always the person getting penalized? It's the third attempt. The second time this has happened, no one's buying them. I put my name in. I'm trying to get rid of this, get money back in the hands of the village. And then someone jumps in and they want to buy the property even though they had an attempt. In this case, he purchased 20. He left a little bit. I feel like I should be the person that's, when I put in the request first, I should be the person that gets all of it. I am willing, I would be okay with splitting it if that ultimately was the case, but I definitely feel that some of it should be mine based on the policy and procedures that have been in place for over almost 20 years at this stage. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for telling this to us in your words. We appreciate that.
I just want to make one comment. This item will come through the committee process as it would normally, and there is a staff recommendation that will be presented at that time, but of course, it's completely up to the board where to go with it from there.
Okay. Again, thank you. Any other public comment this evening? Okay. If not, we will move on to our committee reports, beginning with general government. Trustee Tyrrell.
Just 3 quick items. The first is agenda item number 5A, Guac and Taco, 800 Hillgrove Avenue. This is the amendment to Class H liquor license and temporary use permit. We discussed this the last time we were together. It's the request to expand their outdoor liquor cafe. It's on the omnibus portion of tonight's meeting for consideration. Item number 5B is Hillgrove Tap, 800 Hillgrove Avenue, units 101, 102, and 103, amendment to Class H and Class B liquor licenses. Similarly, we did discuss this the last time we were together. The Hillgrove Tap wishes to expand their outdoor liquor cafe and update their restaurant liquor license to reflect all 3 units that the restaurant now occupies. It will be on omnibus for tonight's consideration. And finally, item 5C, Salerno's Pizza and R Bar, 821 Burlington Avenue, also an amendment to Class H liquor license and temporary use permit. We did discuss this at our last meeting. It's on the omnibus portion of tonight's meeting for consideration. That's all I have.
All right. Thanks very much. Finance Committee, Trustee Chen, please.
Thank you, Madam President. The 2 items have been previously discussed at the last board meeting, and these 2 items will be voted on in the omnibus portion. But as a reminder, one is the TIF incentive rebate to Hawthorne 45 LLC, and the other was expressing official intent regarding certain capital expenditures to be reimbursed from proceeds of one or more obligations to be issued by the Village of Western Springs. I don't know if there's any other question on those items. Otherwise, leader for the vote.
All right. Thank you very much. And then also moving on to Planning and Zoning, Trustee Naraki.
Thanks, President Rudolph. I only have one item on my agenda tonight, which is the pending land use application PC 2025-02 R&M General Contractors LLC for the 5129 Wolf Road. Vacation of public right-of-way and plat of re-subdivision for a 5-lot, single-family residence subdivision. This is a report only so that the board can be brought up to speed. The village has received an application for the redevelopment of the St. James Lutheran Church property at 5129 Wolf Road. The application has been reviewed by the Plan Commission and the Planning and Zoning Committee. The applicant is working through updates to their plans to address conditions from the Commission and the Committee. Director Vallone, can you provide a summary of the application's process so far and the current status?
And I'll also direct your attention to the screen. Bear with me. So as Trustee Naraki mentioned, this is an application that has already been reviewed by Plan Commission and by the Planning and Zoning Committee. Typically, how our process works is it's reviewed by our Planning and Zoning Committee, our Plan Commission, and then it's reviewed by Planning and Zoning Committee, and then it's placed on a village board for discussion, and then placed on a subsequent village board meeting for formal consideration. As indicated, the applicant has already completed a partial portion of this process. And they are continuing to work on their plans to comply with the conditions that have been placed on them through a recommendation of the Plan Commission and also the Planning and Zoning Committee. We wanted to just provide you a status report tonight, since again, it isn't quite following the traditional path, traditional timeline, and give you a preview before we go to a one meeting cycle starting in June. So again, on the screen, I'm just going to click through some general information and just provide you an update on the application to this point. So some might be familiar with the property. It is located on Wolf Road. The address is 5129 Wolf Road. It's also known as the St. James property. It is located at the end of the Johnson Avenue Street on the 5100 block. The property has been occupied by a church since the 1950s. It has some conditional uses on the property as well, related to a Montessori school that was located there during the 90s, and then also for some reconfiguration of the property. The property used to include, as you can see on the screen in the dashed line, it's a relatively odd shape. It used to include the property that's indicated just north on Wolf Road, so that's this here. This used to be part of the St. James property, as well as this property over here that fronts on Caroline. In the mid-2010s, the church petitioned to re-subdivide the property to make those two lots that now are no longer owned by the property individual lots for sale. So the property on Caroline was sold and developed into a single-family house. The property on Wolf has remained in its current state, including a portion of the Circle Drive that was utilized by the church. So the applicant is proposing a re-subdivision and also a vacation of part of the Johnson Avenue cul-de-sac. So outlined in orange is the current cul-de-sac. They are proposing to essentially lengthen the street and push the cul-de-sac about 120 feet south and reestablish it as a cul-de-sac. That would enable these 5 lots that you see on the screen, lot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as to be developed by the applicant for 5 single-family homes. The applicant is requesting no deviations from code and no rezoning. It is in front of the Plan Commission, as all plats are required to be reviewed by the Plan Commission before they can be considered by the village board. Additionally, there's a vacation of the right-of-way. So related to the vacation of the right-of-way, there's actually 3 property owners that are on this application. There is the property owner of 5120 Johnson. The area indicated on the screen in blue would be the portion of the cul-de-sac that would be vacated to that property owner if approved. The area in purple would be vacated to the property owner of 5121. And then the area that you see in orange would be vacated to the applicant, again, if approved. So there are multiple property owners on the application, and the adjacent property owners to the existing right-of-way are actually part of the application. So again, they're proposing to shift the cul-de-sac south to allow for 5 single-family homes to be able to be built, again, with no deviations and no change in zoning. This was reviewed by the Plan Commission and by the Planning and Zoning Committee, both who recommended approval of the application with some conditions. Those conditions were primarily related to technical updates to the plat documents, updates related to inconsistencies between the plats and the engineering plans, and then some revisions based on comments from the engineering services and municipal services departments. So the applicant has been diligently working on updating these plans. They have submitted a set to us. They're still under review, and we're additionally also still working with the village attorney to finalize some of the documents that would be put before you in June for consideration. The applicant is here tonight. Their attorney, Peter Koulis, is here if you have any additional questions. And I can take any questions you have as well.
Any questions? No, thanks for the thorough review. Appreciate that. Okay.
That concludes my report for tonight.
All right. Thanks very much, Director Vallone, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on then to the Public Works and Water Committee report. Trustee Fink?
Thank you. We have 4 items, and they're all on the omnibus, and they were all discussed in the last meeting. The first one is the lead service line replacement cost share. That's very similar to the overhead sewer that allow families to remove their lead service line before the village does it for them. The next one is rejecting the bid for the 53rd Street Flag Creek Water Main Project, hopefully to get a cheaper cost. The next 2 are approving the sanitary sewer point repairs. The first one is Robinson Engineering for the oversight, and finally Suburban General for the construction of it. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Next up then, we have the Properties and Recreation Committee report. Trustee Avakian is absent, and in her...
All right. Again, this is on the omnibus, and it was previously discussed, recommending agreeing with the TRIA architecture for space needs analysis of the Public Works facility.
Okay, great, very good. And last but not least, Public Health and Safety Committee report. Trustee Lewis.
Thank you, President. My first item is a proclamation related to the 51st Annual Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services are an essential public service, providing life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas timely access to quality emergency care significantly improves survival and recovery rates for individuals experiencing sudden illness or injury. And whereas emergency medical services bridge critical health care gaps by delivering out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up treatment, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system is composed of dedicated professionals, including first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, nurses, physicians, and trained members of the public, all working together to provide vital medical care. And whereas, whether serving as career professionals or volunteers, members of emergency medical services teams undergo extensive training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. Whereas, it is fitting to recognize the contributions and accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, President Heidi Rudolph, Village President, does hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week in the Village of Western Springs, honoring and celebrating those who dedicate their lives to protecting the health and safety of our community.
Thank you.
I also have 2 other items,
Okay.
both previously discussed, and this will be in the omnibus, the proclamation also. One being the intergovernmental agreement with the Township of Lyons for the 2025 Summer Intern Program, and also our Stray Animal Partnership Services Agreement with the Hinsdale Humane Society.
Great.
And that's all I have today.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we will move on then to the consideration of and the action on these agenda items. The Illinois state statutes allow a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions such as awards of contract, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All of the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the President and Board of Trustees on at least one occasion and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus vote. Is there any such request this evening? All right, very good. Trustee Terrell.
Thank you, President Rudolph. I'd move that the following ordinances, resolutions, and motions as contained on the meeting agenda for May 19th, 2025 be adopted and/or approved under an omnibus vote. Agenda item 13A, a motion to approve a rejection of all bids received for the 53rd Street and Flag Creek Water Main Project on April 24th, 2025, and rebid the project with contract revisions. Agenda item 13B, a motion to proclaim May 18th to 24th, 2025, the 51st Annual Emergency Medical Services Week. Agenda item 13C, ordinance number 25-3265, an ordinance amending ordinance number 19-2977, granting a Class H It's outdoor liquor cafe. Liquor license to Guac and Tacos LLC, doing business as Guac and Tacos, to allow the operation of an expanded outdoor liquor cafe on portions of the public sidewalk and portions of the public parking adjacent to Unit 104 of the commercial building located at 800 Hillgrove Avenue, Western Springs, Illinois, and authorizing the approval and execution of a temporary use permit for an outdoor liquor cafe, use of public sidewalk and public parking, and a license agreement for temporary use of a public right-of-way relative to the operation of an outdoor liquor cafe. Agenda item 13D, ordinance number 25-3266, an ordinance amending Title IV, that's liquor control, Chapter 1, alcoholic liquor, Section 4-1-10A, paren 2, limitation on the number of licenses of the Western Springs Village Code to include Unit 103 as part of the licensed premises for the Class B, it's full-service restaurant with a patron bar, liquor license issued to Hillgrove Tap LLC, doing business as Hillgrove Tap for the operation of its restaurant at the 800 Hillgrove Avenue building. Agenda item 13E, ordinance number 25-3267, an ordinance amending ordinance number 17-2878, granting a Class H outdoor liquor cafe liquor license to Salerno's Western Springs Incorporated, doing business as Salerno's Pizza and R Bar, to allow the operation of an expanded outdoor liquor cafe on portions of the public sidewalk and the streetscape bump out located north and adjacent to the 821 Burlington Avenue building located at 821 Burlington Avenue, Western Springs, Illinois, and to authorize the approval and execution of a temporary use permit and a license agreement for temporary use of a public right-of-way relative to the operation of an outdoor liquor cafe. Agenda item 13F, ordinance number 25-3268, an ordinance amending ordinance number 17-2809, granting a Class H outdoor liquor cafe liquor license to Hillgrove Tap LLC, doing business as Hillgrove Tap, to allow the operation of an outdoor liquor cafe located on a portion of the public sidewalk and certain parking spaces south of and adjacent to Units 101, 102, and 103 of the commercial building located at 800 Hillgrove Avenue, Western Springs, Illinois, and to authorize the approval and execution of a temporary use permit and a license agreement for temporary use of a public right-of-way relative to the operation of an outdoor liquor cafe. Agenda item 13G, resolution number 25-2909, a resolution authorizing the approval of the June 1st, 2025 TIF incentive rebate payment to Hawthorne 45 LLC and the transfer of TIF funds into the Downtown South TIF Incentive Fund for the benefit of the Western Springs Downtown South TIF District. Agenda item 13H, resolution number 25-2910, a resolution expressing official intent regarding certain capital expenditures to be reimbursed from proceeds of one or more obligations to be issued by the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois. Agenda item 13I, resolution number 25-2911, a resolution approving the adoption, implementation, and funding of a lead service line replacement, LSLR, cost-sharing reimbursement policy and permit program. Agenda item 13J, resolution number 25-2912, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement between the Village of Western Springs and Robinson Engineering Limited of Frankfort, Illinois, for the construction oversight and management for the 2025 sanitary sewer point repairs project in the Springdale and Wedgewood subdivisions. Agenda item 13K, resolution number 25-2913, a resolution accepting the lowest cost qualified and responsive project-based bid, authorizing the approval and execution of a construction contract with Suburban General Construction Incorporated of LaGrange Park, Illinois, and authorizing the expenditure of village funds to pay for the sanitary sewer point repairs in the Springdale and Ridgewood subdivisions in an amount not to exceed $255,105. Agenda item 13L, resolution number 25-2914, a resolution authorizing the waiver of the competitive bid process in lieu of a request for competitive proposals for a space needs analysis of the Public Works Facility and Municipal Services and Engineering Departments, and approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement with Tria Architecture Incorporated of Burridge, Illinois, in the amount of $17,500. Agenda item 13M, resolution number 25-2915, A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Western Springs and the Township of Lyons regarding village participation in the township's internship program. And finally, agenda item 13N, resolution number 25-2916, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a stray animal partnership-based services agreement with the Hinsdale Humane Society for the provision of stray animal services.
Thank you for that last reading. Is there a second?
I'll second that for the last time with Jim reading it.
May we have the roll call vote?
Yes, President Rudolph. Trustee Avakian is absent. Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Naraki.
Aye.
Trustee Terrell.
Aye.
President Rudolph.
Aye.
The ordinances, resolutions, and motions contained in the agenda of May 19th, 2025 are hereby adopted or approved.
Thank you very much. Do we have any new business this evening?
No new business.
Any old business? All right, we'll move on then to our reports. Trustee Chen, do you have the monthly financial report?
No report tonight.
All right. Moving on to me, my report. I'm going to give a brief introduction and then I'm going to pass the mic. We are really pleased to inform everyone that our very own Village Manager Bear will be awarded the Illinois City County Managers Association Special Service Award for Leslie Les T. Allen service to the community. The award recognizes a public administrator who has demonstrated exemplary service within one's organization by being an above-average professional manager and having displayed the characteristics of integrity and leadership to provide exceptional service to one's community to get projects completed. There's more, which I'm going to let Deputy Manager Bernacki tell us more about, but we couldn't be more proud.
Thank you.
Just for some background, so Leslie T. Allen was a public administrator. He was a city manager for the city of Decatur for a long time, I think 16 years. And upon his retirement, he started up a group that was back then called the Range Riders, and is today called the Special Advisors for ILCMA. And they're a group of retired city managers who mentor public administrators in the field in really every way you can imagine possible, which is why we thought of Ellen for this award. The entire village manager's office staff nominated her, and I'd like to read a little bit from the nomination. From the outset of her tenure as village manager, Ellen has demonstrated leadership and her determination to address the village's most critical and long-standing challenges. Ellen has been instrumental in supporting staff with the development of a comprehensive capital infrastructure plan, a successful education campaign for a $45 million referendum to fund critical infrastructure improvements, the implementation of a new stormwater utility fee, promotion of a new property improvement program in the downtown TIF districts, securing mental health professionals in our public safety departments, and so much more. Ellen has embraced a forward-thinking approach with a vision for tackling challenges to better the future of Western Springs. She's made the choice to meet these challenges head-on, being fully aware of their complexity and the difficulty that they would entail, the work involved, and the community education required. So Ellen's going to be recognized in the beginning of June by her peers at the ILCMA Summer Conference, where she'll receive her award, and we just couldn't be happier. So congrats, Ellen.
Congratulations, Ellen. Couldn't agree more with all of what you read off to us, Casey, as well as even just what the award stands for. So we are very fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes my report, so I will now pass it to you, Village Manager Bear.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to the staff for the nomination, and of course my peers for selecting me for the award. I just want to say, and I say this all the time to our staff, I would not be successful in this role without the exceptional work and professionalism and expertise of our staff. And I feel very, very blessed to work with every one of them, as well as this board. Western Springs is one of those unique places. I don't know of any community like ours, and I'm just feeling so grateful to be your village manager, so thank you. I just have a couple of items really quick. Household Cleanup Day is coming up June 7th. It's a little earlier this year than it has been in some years, so I just want to note that it's coming up fast, June 7th. Get ready, clean out your garage, your basement, whatever else you want to do. We also are still looking for feedback on our Safe Routes to School, Safe Travel to School survey. We got a lot of really nice feedback this weekend at a wonderful Touch a Truck event that was put on by our Public Works Department and our Municipal Services whole team with great cooperation from police, fire, all kinds of other organizations, a couple of other communities, the city of Darien and the village of Willow Springs came out with equipment, and the Touch a Truck event was just a huge success. I think the kids had a really good time. I think parents had just as good a time. So thank you so much for doing that. And that is my report for tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Village Attorney Jarusik.
Just a couple comments. Congrats to Village Manager Bear on a well-deserved award, and to Trustee Terrell. I will miss you. I have enjoyed the years of working with you and collaborating with you. You're an absolute professional, and I do enjoy everything that the time we spent together professionally and the friendship.
Thank
I'll
you.
miss you.
Feeling as well.
Yep.
Similar.
That's it.
All right. Well, speaking of Trustee Terrell, I know on behalf of the entire board and the staff, I'd like to, again, express my sincere appreciation to Trustee Jim Terrell, whose second term has come to an end. Trustee Terrell has served the village for 19 years, most recently the 8 as a trustee that I know very well, and previously the Plan Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals. For me, Jim, Trustee Terrell, your preparation, your curiosity, and your consideration just for the entire village, night after night, it really serves as a model for all of us. We will miss many, many things about you, not least of which is your ability to perfectly read that very detailed and lengthy omnibus Monday after Monday.
I practiced it tonight, so I didn't have any flub-ups.
Oh. Speaking of preparation, there you go. Okay. But seriously, you do a very good job of that. Jim and I were elected at the same time in 2017, and it really has been my honor and privilege to serve alongside you. What an asset to our community you are, and I know you will continue to be. I know I've heard from you, Nancy, and others. You're not going anywhere, so we will surely see you around. But again, thank you for your 19 years of just absolutely exceptional service to the community. And I also want to mention Nancy for all that you have done in support of Jim. You're always here too. You're always supporting him. I know that you are the person behind the scenes doing a lot as well. So Nancy, we're very grateful to you and for your friendship and the fact that we've gotten to know you too over the years. So it's been terrific. We have a couple things that we want to pass along. I think walking over there to Nancy. And then we have a couple things for you, Jim, if you could come down.
Beautiful.
Two boards that you served on.
Million faces.
We're going to let you say.
This is beautiful. Thank you all for recognizing me. It's been nothing but a privilege, as I said yesterday. We have a long history together, and hopefully we'll have so many more years. I started with the village when my son was 13 years of age, and now he's a little bigger and happier now. His lovely wife, Dominique, and Nancy. So I thank you for the time. As I mentioned yesterday during the send-off speeches, I consider this some real friends, and my recommendation to you, Karen, if you don't know already, is that these are very smart people, the ones here, the ones at the back row. Get to know them, get to use them, pick their brains. We'll learn about so much, just as I have over the years. I wish I could stay, but I said yesterday, we do have a constitution here that allows for 2 terms, but who knows what the future may hold. So I thank you all. I have cherished my time here. I will miss this seat really quite capably, and I miss everyone that I've worked with over the years. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, well, now the next item on our agenda is our inauguration of our newly elected officers. That becomes our oaths of office. And I will turn it over to Clerk Timick and Deputy Clerk Izzo.
I, Edward Timick,
Having been elected to the office of village clerk
having been elected to the office of village clerk
in the village of Western Springs,
in the village of Western Springs,
in the county of Cook,
the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village clerk
the duties of the office of village clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities. So I believe we're going to do Aaron
Scott
first.
Lewis?
Oh, we're going to do Scott first?
Yep, I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
Scott?
$1. $7.95.
$1.
That's how you do that.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Scott Lewis,
Having been elected
having been elected
to the office of village trustee
to the office of village trustee
in the village of Western
in
Springs,
the village of Western Springs,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
in the state of Illinois,
in the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of
the
Illinois,
Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the municipal code of the village of Western
and
Springs,
the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of village trustee
of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, Karen Martin,
Having been elected
having been elected
to the office of village trustee
to the office of village trustee
in the village of Western
in
Springs,
the village of Western Springs,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
and the state of
in
Illinois,
the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of
and
Illinois,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the municipal code of the village of Western
and
Springs,
the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village trustee
the duties of the office of village trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Instead of coming on down, thanks, guys.
Yes, right to work.
Welcome.
like to introduce your family? Well, it's such a terrific opportunity to take over for Jim because this is my 13-year-old son. And my first volunteer position, well, I should say my second, but my recent volunteer work with my 13-year-old son. And these are my parents, Jeanette Martin and Jack Martin, who have been 50-plus year residents of Western Springs.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Heidi Rudolph,
Having been elected
having been elected
to the office of village president
to the office of village president
in the village of Western Springs,
in the village of Western Springs,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
in the state of Illinois,
in the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
Okay, well, it's a big night, a lot of things happening. I have an additional report, which are going to be the surprise committee assignments, because we've had a lot going on, so I'm going to let you all know what they are now. And we will then convene these new committees, obviously over the next few weeks, in anticipation of our 1 June board meeting. We have our summer schedule, we're 1 meeting per month, so those will get scheduled with our directors and staff. So first off, the General Government Committee, the chairperson will be Nicole Chen and member Phil Naraki. The Properties, Rec, and Environmental Committee, new name with some new topics added to it, will be Chair Naraki and member Nicole Chen. Public Works and Water will be Chair Scott Lewis and member Karen Martin. The Finance Committee will be Chair Karen Martin and member Scott Lewis. Planning and Zoning will be Chair Al Fink and member Amy Avakian. And Public Health and Safety will be Chair Amy Avakian and member Al Fink. And we will be swearing in Amy at our next meeting, by the way. So those will be our new assignments. Again, we kind of mixed it up. We've kept with the pairing system, which has worked, I think we have all agreed, has worked quite well in terms of scheduling and in terms of just time here. Trying to give people opportunities to work on and look at different initiatives and projects. And I think you will all do a fabulous job in these new committees. So thank you very much. Any questions? All right. Very good. And I don't think we have a closed meeting tonight? No. Okay. Well, then we are at that last item, the adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?